out the Cinnamon Spice Inn by Harper Graham. This is the first book in the Maple Falls series. Okay, so we have self-confessed coffee addict and food writer Madison, who has convinced herself she belongs in New York City, but when she's called back to the small town of Maple Falls to save her childhood home, the Cinnamon Spice Inn, she is not looking forward to seeing her ex, Zach. Now a sexy bearded handyman who knows exactly how to push her buttons, but she won't let anything distract her from the inn's relaunch, right? Zach is frustrated in more ways than one when his latest job brings him face to face with the girl who got away. He's already agreed to renovate her family's inn, and he's nothing if not a man of his word. But the last thing he wants is to work side by side with that stubborn, infuriating, fine, totally gorgeous redhead. Sparks fly as they prepare for a big Halloween opening. Will Madison save the Cinnamon Spice Inn and have a second chance at love, or will it all go up in flames? So some tropes that are listed for this book are enemies to lovers, forced proximity, opposites attract, second chance, childhood sweethearts. And this is spicy, of course. Let us get into my thoughts. We have the handy dandy iPad here with me for my notes, and let's just get into it. So immediately I feel like this book gave off the best fall vibes. Like, if you want fall thrown up at you, this is what you should read for sure. It does discuss the loss of a parent and grief over that. So if that is something that you are sensitive to, then I would, proceed with caution, or, maybe not proceed. I was kind of annoyed at the beginning because I could already tell that their breakup was based on like either miscommunication or just lack of communication, period. And that is like one of my least favorite tropes or things to happen in books, right along with second chance. So it already had like two things working against it: second chance, and then the miscommunication slash lack of communication part for it. But I still pushed for it because I just wanted to read it to see what it was about. And let's talk about how, the conflict of the breakup is usually a large part of second chance romances. Why they initially broke up, is it something that they think they could work through and move forward from into the future? Like that's the essence of a second chance, right? Well, you would think that that would take up a good portion of the book, like be kind of one of the main plot lines running beside whatever else is going on. Well, no, friends, because the initial breakup conflict was solved in one conversation that lasted like a couple of lines in this book on the page. What do you mean? What actually do you really mean that y'all had this breakup and didn't talk to each other for years, but I almost dropped the mic, but one conversation, not even a long conversation, it was literally like maybe half a page, and that's me being generous, and we're solved. I'm not saying that they were back together. I'm saying that they had worked through it and basically had forgiven each other for what had happened. No, I don't believe it. Absolutely not. And both of them had this very annoying trait about being so quick to assume things and not just ask. Because even if you have known somebody your whole life and you just think you have the best grasp of who they are as a person, you still don't have room to assume things. You still need to ask questions. And especially when there's like sensitive subjects involved, or you have like a rocky past with this person, you need to be asking questions. And both of them were very quick to assume so wrong, and then not have the conversation about it right when it happened. We have to have a drawn out dramatic moment and then come back to have a conversation basically saying that we didn't even have to go through this to begin with. That's very frustrating to me to read as a reader, but also just like in real life. But about halfway through, I felt like I was not having a good time. I was not, but I liked the atmosphere and I wanted to see how it ended. I wanted to see if this could turn around for me. and I don't know why. Like I said, it was just something about this that pulled it to me. So I kept pushing, okay? I kept pushing, and the romance just was not for me. I did not. I liked, you know, the small town of it all, the friend group, the other characters, the relationships with the other characters. It just was the romance for me, and this book did not work. And I don't even know if it was a second chance. I just don't think the couple needed to be together. Like, they just had too many issues that felt like they were going to keep happening. Like, even though they talked about them and supposedly worked through them in the moment, it feels like they're still going to have these issues going forward. So these main characters separated for about 6 years when Madison moved to New York City. And once Madison came back, and, you know, she hadn't fully said she was gonna, I was about to tell too much. So once Madison came back, it was like they kind of just picked up from where they were, not realizing that there's a 6-year gap where things have happened to each person that has changed who that person is. Nobody is the same person that they were 6 years ago. At least I would hope not. And they didn't try to, you know, go back and grab that information or even just try to learn who each other is right now. They just kind of worked on who each other, worked off of who each other was back then. And like I said, the romance did not do it for me at all in this book. I rated it a 3.5 star, and that was me being generous. Was it a 3.5 star? Let me make sure, honey. 3 star, solid 3 star. And that had nothing to do with the romance, and it was a romance book, so that tells you how I was feeling about it. Yeah, I liked everything else about the book but the romance. So I did decide to continue on in the series because it's interconnected standalone, so we would not be following this couple again. And so I was like, yeah, let me give Harper Graham another try. It wasn't really fair to, you know, her first book for me be a second chance romance, because it's going to be like very unlikely that somebody is going to win me over with a second chance. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up the second book. And it just kind of worked out that the second book is a winter/Christmas book. So I was like, yeah, that's why I decided I was going to include it in this vlog as the next book coming up, because it just kind of makes sense to put them both together. So let us hop into the Spiced Cocoa Cafe and we can talk about that. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the Spiced Cocoa Cafe, the second book in the Maple Falls series by Harper Graham. In this one, we have Cassidy, who is finally opening her dream chocolate shop inspired by her dear grandma, who made the best cocoa. Now, all she wants for Christmas is to win Best Decorated Store and show she belongs to the small town of Maple Falls. But she'll have to pull out all the stops to beat the handsome, lovable Grinch across the street. Liam hates the holidays. They remind him of past heartbreak, but to support his family's llama sanctuary, he is determined to deck out his farm shop in holiday cheer and win that prize. Then he sees her chocolate-smeared cheeks, wide blue eyes, and the warmest smile. He's up against the cutest, most Christmas-obsessed person ever. Their rivalry heats up as the town divides between Team Cassidy and Team Liam, but with snowflakes falling and their stores looking all merry and bright, with the magic of the season bring them together. And the tropes listed for this are grumpy sunshine, found family, rivals to lovers type situation, but not really rivals. So yeah. So friends, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't have a lot to say about this book. I read it very quickly, maybe 1 or 2 sittings at most. But right off the bat, I like this way more than I liked the Cinnamon Spice Inn, just because of the romance. It felt like it just felt more more of what I like to read in books. So I was definitely a fan of that. I thought Cassidy was a really cute main character. She was very much sunshiny, very much Christmassy. And, you know, I like to see her stand up for herself, work through her self-doubt, and you know, give herself a chance to discover who she is and who she wanted to be before deciding to jump into a relationship. Also realizing that you can continue that process once you have a foundation along with someone. So that was really cute. I like Liam also. He was just a moody brood, and you know, I like those. And they did a little bit of back and forth as couples do in romance books. It didn't feel annoying to me. You know, it kind of felt believable for both of the characters to have their hangups. Now, there was one situation that happened. It was the big blow up of it all. And I did not like how Liam handled the situation. Was it on brand for his character? I think so. But did it give over dramatic and you should have just waited and asked questions? Also, yes. So you know, it gave you doing the most, and if you had just stopped for a second and asked questions, then you could have found out and didn't even have to make this as big of a situation as it was. So yeah, I rated this one a 3.5 star, and I know that's not much different than the first book being a 3 star, but it was almost a 4 star, and I thought about giving it that, but it's just something missing, I think, from these. And there's nothing wrong with a 3.5 star. I think that's actually a really good rating. I recommend 3.5 stars. I recommend 3 stars. It's just, you know, it didn't hook itself into me, and I'm not like overly in love with it. But it's okay to like books too. Like, I plan to continue on in this series with a 3 and a 3.5 star because I like it. Like, I don't have to love everything that I read. I'm okay with reading stuff that I like. And sometimes you just want the feelings that these types of books can, like, you know, it's cozy. Like, life is hard. Life is hard, and sometimes you just want something cozy and fun and predictable and maybe a little dramatic, and that to just get you through. And that's what I feel like this series is doing for me. I plan to read the third book whenever it comes out. In 2026. I think it's like a Daisy. No, I'm making that up. I'm confusing it with Dream Harbor because they're essentially the same thing, and I'm reading them both. The third book in this series is going to be called The Cherry Crush Flower Shop. So yeah, I do plan on picking that up when it comes out, and yeah, fun time. Do recommend. Hey y'all, it is time to talk about Home for Christmas by Rilzy Adams. It's just a quick little novella where we follow Arya, who doesn't have beef with Christmas. If her past disastrous holidays are any indication, Christmas has beef with her. It's been years since she celebrated, and Arya has convinced herself that she is perfectly okay with being in her Grinch era. However, everything changes when she meets Miles Henderson, and he persuades her to give Christmas one more try. Miles Henderson thought that the only thing he needed this Christmas was to spend it at home in Providence. Nothing prepared him for Arya and the instant connection he felt with her. Suddenly, Miles wants more than just being home for Christmas. He wants to celebrate Christmas with her. Both of them are shocked when she agrees to attend a few holiday events with him, but as the days tick towards Christmas, Miles and Arya learn that sometimes home can be found in a person, and it only takes one decision to change your life. So I enjoyed this. I thought it was really cute. It was fun. It was, you know, it gave Rousey Adams. I just think that it was, you know, sometimes a little cringy, like the whole Grinch era situation. I didn't love that that saying was thrown around so much. I did like the cute Christmassy things that Miles and Arya would do together. I hmm, I I find it a little unrealistic, which it's funny for me to say because Spiked Hot Chocolate, which is also a Christmas novella by Rousey Adams, is actually more unrealistic, but I think I liked that more. I just don't really know what I don't even know if there was a disconnect in this story for me. I just felt that it was okay. It was a fun time reading it. I I I don't know. I don't know. I rated this a 3.5 star. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I had fun while I was reading it. I don't think that it is something that I will like fully remember or have like a special spot in my brain. I will recommend it on list because like I said, I had a good time reading it. It just wasn't exactly memorable for me. And honestly, I don't have much else to say about it. I would be just rambling on, and I don't want to waste your time or mine because I have to edit this. So, yeah, I think if this sounds like something you're interested in, I would pick it up. It's less than 200 pages. It's less than 150 pages. It was fun. It's on Kindle Unlimited. Rousey Adams knows how to write a good novella, get in and get out. And, I think that's all I have to say. Oh, I'm trying to think. No, yeah, that's it. Sorry, I don't have more for you. Yeah. All right, y'all, let's get into The Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. And this is about Molly and Andrew who are just trying to get home to Ireland for the holidays when a freak snowstorm grounds their flight. Nothing romantic has ever happened between them. They're friends, and that's all. But once a year for the last 10 years, Molly has spent 7 hours and 15 minutes sitting next to Andrew on the last flight before Christmas from Chicago to Dublin, drinking terrible airplane wine, and catching up on each other's lives. In spite of all the ways the two friends are different, it's the holiday tradition neither of them has ever wanted to give up. Molly isn't that bothered by Christmas, but in yet another way, they're total opposites. Andrew is a full on fanatic for the festive season, and she knows how much getting back to Ireland means to him. So instead of doing the same thing and just celebrating the holidays in America, she does a stupid thing, the irrational thing. She vows to get him home and in time for his mom's famous Christmas dinner. The clock is ticking, but Molly always has a plan, and as long as the highly specific combination of taxis, planes, boats, and trains all run on time, it couldn't possibly go wrong. What she doesn't know is that as the snow falls over the city and over the heads of two friends who are sure they're not meant to be together, the universe might just have a different plan. So, this is a friends to lovers situation that kind of happens, over time. Well, no, they've been friends for 10 years. And then this year, it just kind of like blooms in Molly's mind that, hey, I might like this man. Okay. So I was excited to get into this book because I just heard so many good things about Catherine Walsh's holiday romances. I know there's this one in Snowden that people really liked. So I, was ready to go in and have a good time. And as I was reading this, I was a little skeptical because I am not a friends to lovers type person. I don't know why. Like, friends to lovers makes sense in my brain, but like reading it in books, it just doesn't compute and it feels a little dry and not something that I'm a fan of. And I hate to say that holiday romance kind of fell flat in that way for me. I don't know. It felt like, they had known each other for 10 years. The way they had met was a little, but like they got over it and they started this tradition that they had for 10 years. So you mean to tell me out of all these 10 years that you've known this person, you've never had a thought like, hey, I maybe kind of like this person. It just kind of hit you in the face, like punched you in the face all of a sudden after 10 years. I just, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. And, it just, yeah, I thought it was okay. It ran kind of corny for me, and I just didn't exactly enjoy Molly as a main character. Like, nothing was overly wrong with her, but there were a lot of moments where I was just like side eyeing her, or like, ugh, or like, girl, come on, and those just added up for me. Anyway, I rated this book a 2.5 star. My throat's kind of dry. And while there was nothing overly wrong with it, there wasn't a lot of things that were overly right with it for me either. I just didn't love it. And that's what happens sometimes. I, do think that if this sounds interesting to you and you like Friends to Lovers, then I mean, I would give it a shot. But yeah, I wasn't a fan. So yeah, I don't know if I plan to read Snowed In. I might. The brother that it's following, one of, is his name Andrew? Yeah, one of Andrew's brothers, and he seemed a little interesting. So it might be something that I give a try, but I don't know. I'm not really too fussed about it. So we'll see. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up this holiday reading vlog that was semi successful. I mean, I had a fun time with everything, but I just didn't find any favorites. And that happens sometimes, it's okay. So let's run through what we read in this video. We read the Cinnamon Spice Inn, which was a 3-star. The Spiced Cocoa Cafe was a 3.5 star. Home for Christmas by Rilzy Adams was also a 3.5 star. And then unfortunately, we have to end off on Holiday Romance being a 2.5 star. So, that's what it is. Hopefully, our next one will be a little more successful because I love holiday romances, and so, I need another favorite. I do. If you have any recommendations for me, leave them in the comments section because I'm always looking for new books to read. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Anything that you do to support me and my channel, I cannot express to you how much it means to me. I hope you have the best holiday season ever. Remember to take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.